A single thought can ripple across galaxies. Let that settle for a moment. Not just poetry, this is physics, philosophy, and forgotten wisdom wrapped into one haunting truth. What if every idea, every whisper in your mind wasn't just noise in your skull, but a pulse in the fabric of the universe? What if your thoughts right now were bending time, shifting reality, and dancing with distant stars? Tonight, we pull back the veil. This isn't just about chaos theory, nor is it confined to the cold language of science. No, this is ancient, woven into the myths of forgotten civilizations, whispered by mystics in stone temples, encoded in symbols older than speech itself. The butterfly effect is not just a scientific curiosity, it is a key, a fractal key to understanding the hidden architecture of consciousness and cosmos. In this video, you're going to journey through the tangled web of chaos theory where tiny changes birth titanic consequences. You'll see how quantum threads link your mind to the stars and why your thoughts are not contained within your skull, but echo far beyond it. You'll uncover why ancient seers guarded this wisdom and how it was buried beneath centuries of dogma and denial. We'll dive into the mystical roots of chaos, why the ancients feared and revered unpredictability, the secret quantum link between thought and matter, what modern science is only beginning to grasp, and most importantly, how to use this knowledge to reshape your reality from the inside out. But be warned, once you see the code behind the curtain, there's no turning back. This is not just information, it's transformation. So lean in, silence the noise, and prepare to awaken an ancient power within you. Because by the end of this journey, you'll understand. The universe doesn't just respond to action, it responds to thought. And thought, my friend, is the first domino. In the shadowed corridors of ancient temples, beneath vaulted ceilings carved with stars and serpents, priests and sages once gathered, not to pray, but to calculate, to map the invisible currents that tether thought to fate, mind to matter. They did not call it the butterfly effect. That term would come millennia later. But they knew. The Egyptians spoke of the Ka, the vital essence that connected an individual's soul to the cosmic order. Every intention, they believed, sent ripples through the invisible ether, an echo that touched both the living and the divine. In the East, the Vedic seers of India referred to Akasha, the quantum field before quantum physics, a limitless ocean where all vibrations, thoughts, and actions are eternally recorded. And in ancient Greece, the Stoics believed in the Logos, a rational cosmic mind that responded in kind to human reason and will. These weren't mere metaphors. They were systems, esoteric sciences encoded in rituals, chants, and sacred geometry. The belief that the microcosm reflects the macrocosm wasn't poetic flourish. It was instruction. As above, so below was a formula, not a phrase. But then, something changed. The mystery schools were shuttered. The sacred texts were sealed or burned. Knowledge gave way to control. What had once been open to initiates became heresy in the hands of empires and institutions. The mechanics of mind were dismissed as superstition, and the bridge between consciousness and cosmos was deliberately dismantled. Yet fragments survived, in Gnostic gospels hidden in desert caves, in Hermetic scrolls smuggled through Moorish Spain, in the cryptic musings of mystics like Paracelsus, Swedenborg, and later Carl Jung. All of them whispered the same heretical thought, that the inner world is not separate from the outer world, that your thoughts shape the geometry of reality. Then came chaos theory. In 1961, a meteorologist named Edward Lorenz input a simple equation into a computer model. He changed one variable by one fraction, a decimal point. The result? A completely different weather pattern. A butterfly flaps its wings in Brazil, and a tornado forms in Texas. It was science finally stumbling onto a truth the ancients had long known. Small changes can unleash cosmic consequences. The modern world saw a scientific novelty, but the esoteric mind recognized something deeper, a map back to the divine. Because if the air responds to a butterfly, what does the universe do with your thoughts? We stand now where ancient wisdom and cutting-edge science finally meet. a convergence long prophesied. And in that liminal space, something becomes clear. You are not a spectator in the universe. You are a participant in its unfolding. So how exactly does a fleeting thought in your mind reach out and sculpt the cosmos? To understand this, we must first venture into the realm of chaos, not as disorder, but as the secret intelligence behind unpredictability. Chaos theory, in its truest form, reveals that systems that seem random are in fact governed by underlying patterns, patterns sensitive beyond imagination. Picture a pendulum, but not one swinging smoothly from side to side. A double pendulum where a second arm is attached to the first. Now swing it. Watch as it twists, loops, jerks, unpredictable, chaotic. But here's the secret. If you knew every variable, the weight, the angle, the wind, even the grains of dust in the air, you could in theory predict its entire dance. This is chaos, order hidden within infinite sensitivity. Now replace the pendulum with your life. Every decision you make, every emotion you entertain, is like nudging that pendulum. A tiny shift in your inner world can echo into massive ripples across time, relationships, health, opportunity, even destiny. Most people think life happens to them, but chaos theory suggests life responds to them with terrifying precision. And here the butterfly effect becomes more than metaphor. It becomes law. But how does this tie into your thoughts? To answer that, we descend into the quantum. At the subatomic level, particles don't behave like solid matter. They flicker, dance, disappear, appearing as waves, then particles, then possibilities. It is the act of observation, attention, consciousness that collapses these possibilities into reality. Think about that. Without consciousness, the quantum field remains an infinite sea of maybes. But the moment you focus, you cause the universe to decide. In essence, you don't observe reality, you create it. This is not mysticism. This is the double-slit experiment. And it means your mind, your focus, is the trigger that collapses infinite futures into one. Now take this further. What if your thoughts are not just inner monologues, but energetic frequencies, subtle vibrations that pulse outward, like ripples in a cosmic pond? What if they're not bound by time or space, but woven into the same non-local web that connects particles across galaxies? Suddenly, your inner state becomes far more than personal. It becomes creative. This is what the ancients hinted at when they spoke of manifestation, karma, magic, prayer, and intention. These were not superstitions. They were early technologies of mind, ways to consciously influence the field. And now modern science is catching up. HeartMath Institute has shown that emotions alter the electromagnetic field of the heart, affecting those around you. Princeton's Global Consciousness Project has tracked worldwide shifts in randomness during major global events, as if human thought itself is shaping probability. Coincidence or confirmation? You see, every time you think, you send a signal. But when that signal is emotionally charged, when it's filled with belief, with passion, with certainty, it becomes a command, a spell cast across the matrix of reality. So yes, a butterfly may stir the winds, but your mind, it commands the storm. Let us now go deeper, beyond theory, into the paradox where science, spirituality, and the supernatural converge. If the universe responds to thought, why then does it not always obey your desires? Why do dreams falter, affirmations fail, and intentions vanish into silence? Because there is a difference between a thought and a signal. A fleeting wish carries no weight, but a thought charged with emotion, belief, and clarity becomes a frequency, one that resonates with the structure of reality. The ancients knew this. They didn't think their reality into existence, they embodied it. Egyptian magicians, Vedic rishis, and Tibetan monks understood that it is not what you want, but what you are that shapes the world around you. To change the outer, you must transform the inner vibration. And here lies the great paradox of the butterfly effect. The smallest change within, the subtlest shift of mindset, perception, or belief can recalibrate the entirety of your life's trajectory. But it must be real, authentic, energetic. Not fantasy, but frequency. Let's challenge another illusion, that you are a singular, isolated being. Quantum entanglement destroys this notion. Two particles once connected remain in sync across space and time. Shift one, and the other responds instantly, faster than light. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. But you are not made of one or two particles. You are made of trillions. And many of them are entangled with others. People, places, moments, even futures. So what does this mean? It means your inner transformation may be the catalyst for someone else's awakening. It means healing your trauma might uplift someone you've never met. It means your rise in consciousness could silently end a cycle of suffering in your lineage. Unseen, but not unfelt. That's the secret no one tells you. Your thoughts don't just affect you, they shift the field itself. The whole, the all. Even the Gnostics taught this. They believed the material world was a projection, a dream distorted by unconscious thought. To awaken was to reclaim the creative force within, to pierce the illusion, and remember that we are the architects of the dream. And what of destiny? Fate? Here lies the final riddle. If every thought births a ripple, and every ripple reshapes the ocean, then destiny is not a script carved in stone, but a song being written in real time. And your thoughts, your choices, they are the notes, which means you are both composer and composition. But most live in amnesia, trapped by limiting beliefs, programmed patterns, inherited traumas. They flap their wings blindly, unaware that every beat sends tremors through the field. Unaware that within them lies the capacity to call forth synchronicity, serendipity, even miracles. Now you know. And knowledge in the esoteric tradition is not just power, it is responsibility. Because to think is to ripple, to feel is to resonate, and to believe is to command. So I ask you, what are you creating when you're not paying attention? You now hold the key, but knowing a key exists is not the same as using it. The butterfly effect isn't just theory, it's a living principle you can activate. So how do you begin to shift your thoughts from random sparks into precise instruments of reality? How do you become conscious of the ripple you send out with every internal movement? Here is your map. 3 ancient practices reborn for a modern seeker. 1. The thought ritual. Precision over noise. Each morning before the distractions of the world take hold, create a thought sigil. It need not be a drawing, though that helps. Choose a single outcome you wish to manifest, not vague, but clear. Not I want happiness, but I am immersed in joyful, meaningful work that aligns with my soul. Now close your eyes. Visualize not just the result, but the feeling of it being real. Anchor it in your breath. Then whisper it aloud, once. Not as a plea, but as a command to the field. Do this daily, not to convince the universe, but to tune yourself to the frequency of that reality. Because your mind is not a wishing well, it is a tuning fork. 2nd, quantum journaling. Collapse the future. Every night, write a journal entry from the future. Describe your life as if what you desire has already happened. Be absurdly detailed, smells, colors, sounds. How did it feel waking up in your dream home? What did the email say that changed everything? What expression was on your face when you saw the number in your bank account? Why does this work? Because the subconscious doesn't distinguish between memory and imagination. This practice begins to collapse possible timelines into probability. It creates neurological familiarity with your desired outcome. So your energy no longer repels it with disbelief. And in the quantum field, familiarity creates magnetism. 3. Emotional alchemy. Transmute, don't suppress. Negative thoughts are not failures. They are unrefined power. When fear, jealousy, or doubt arise, don't fight them. Transmute them. Sit in silence. Breathe deeply. Ask, what is this feeling trying to teach me? Trace it to its origin. Then imagine that emotion not as a weight, but as raw energy. Visualize yourself transforming it, like fire consuming dry leaves. Let it fuel your intention, not sabotage it. This is true emotional alchemy. The same process mystics use to convert suffering into spiritual gold. Daily alignment exercise. The ripple breath 1. Inhale for 4 counts. Second, hold for 4. Third, exhale for 8. As you exhale, visualize your thought traveling outward, like a ripple through water or a signal through starlight. Do this several times a day. It anchors awareness in the present moment and reminds your system that you are always broadcasting. Avoiding the pitfalls. Vagueness is the enemy. Clarity carves reality. Desperation repels. Creation flows from detachment. Disbelief is a virus. Replace it not with blind hope, but with evidence. Look for synchronicities, shifts, and subtle confirmations. Track them. Celebrate them. They are signs the ripple has returned. Most fail because they try to force mountains to move with a scattered mind. But a mountain moves when the wind is consistent, patient, and focused. You don't need to control the world. You only need to master the signal you're sending into it. And when you do, reality listens. The flap of a butterfly's wing, the spark of a single thought. What if that's all it takes to awaken a new universe? We began this journey with a whisper, that a single idea could ripple across galaxies. And now you know it wasn't a metaphor. It was a mechanism, a lost truth buried beneath centuries of noise and disbelief. Chaos theory taught us that nothing is truly small. That scale is an illusion, and impact is exponential. Quantum physics confirmed that your focus shapes the very particles of existence, and ancient wisdom has been screaming this from the mountaintops for thousands of years. Your thoughts are not whispers in the dark. They are blueprints, commands. So the question is no longer, can my thoughts shape the world? It's, what world am I shaping without even knowing it? In every moment, you are either remembering your power or surrendering it. The butterfly effect is not just a scientific curiosity, it is your inheritance, a living code embedded within your consciousness, waiting to be activated. You are not here to simply react to reality. You are here to weave it, sculpt it, sing it into being. This is not ego. This is sacred responsibility. You are not a speck in a meaningless cosmos. You are the cosmos, awakening to itself. So today, be mindful of the thoughts you think, the emotions you feed, the stories you repeat, because each one is a seed. And the universe, whether you realize it or not, is always listening. The next ripple begins now. If this stirred something within you, if you felt even a flicker of truth rise up, share it. Like the butterfly's wing, your action may awaken someone else. Comment below with your thoughts. Subscribe if you're ready to walk deeper into the hidden realms. And above all, choose your thoughts with reverence. The universe is shaped by the silent spells we cast every day.